and loud. This is the Scooter McGee Show on News Talk 1310 KFKA.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
I'd sit alone and watch your light, my only friend through teenage nights, and everything I had to know, I heard it on my radio.
Good evening, Gotham. Metropolis, Emerald City, Xanadu, Babylon, to the ISS, and the rest of you. Whether in this spectrum or others. Live from the Pro Realty Old Town Studios, a Quantum News Network production of the Scooter McGee Show, in which I am he. Find me, along with my guest tonight, in at least the first hour from the Disclosure Project. We're lucky enough to have Dan Willis with us now. Just in all fairness, let's get all this out of the way now so we can focus and spend time talking to Dan. From Stanton Friedman to Nick Pope to Mark McCandlish, this couldn't have come at a worse time and yet a better time. Or the best time. We'll find out. Some of you are going to have a little difficulty with what we're going to be talking about tonight. Not that this show actually encourages alcoholism, but an adult beverage may be required. Hence the Greeley West Side Liquor Hotline. No, we'll just forward that to 970-353-0036 for the night. Greeley and Evans, you're covered. Call between now and 11 o'clock and have it delivered. Okay? Meanwhile, shotguns, 25%. Oh, City National Pond, 3301 West 10th Street. I'm going to get two out of the way in this and then two in the bottom. Since we're up going west, we'll keep going. 3301 West 10th Street, 25% off all shotguns, 30% off all electronics, all laptops. It's dollar DVDs right now because I'm bored. I actually found the original Escape from New York. I still have mine on VHS. Antiquated technology then. But yes, 3301 West 10th Street. And again, ladies, we got you covered there too. 40% off all jewelry. And Monday through Saturday, of course, and you can go find them on the World Wide Web, City National Pond, Greeley. I'm excited. Now, this fell into our laps by accident because, as promised, we were going to have Willie Whitefeather on the show, and Willie is not feeling up. He was doing great and then was not feeling so well. We may or may not hear from him later. But again, to have this interview fall in my lap and not go, so please don't think that I hoodwinked you by saying, hey, tonight, Willie's on and now he's not, and that's not what I'm doing. Now, you're going to want to go to 1310kfk.com, either social media. You can watch the show. You're going to want to download this one because they're going to take this one off the internet by midnight tomorrow. We've often talked about, again, all of you on your smart platforms. Thank you, Nikola Tesla. We're post now, Roswell 47. We've talked all about this. We've talked about Admiral Byrd. We've talked about the flat Earth. We've talked all these things, and we still get back to UFOs and reptiles and the massive cover-up. And Dan Willis, of course, was one of the Disclosure Project's top secret military witnesses, testifying, of course, at the National Press Club. Many of you longtime listeners have heard Dr. Carol Rosin's speech on this show. Please welcome Dan Willis. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening, Scooter. Glad to be on your show.
I'm absolutely thrilled to have you on the show. And there's so much to talk about, and with what time we do have, let's start with what you presented at the Disclosure Project in 2001 at the National Press Club in, of course, what I call district criminals, but Washington, D.C.
Well, no, my testimony was Navy stuff, I think, compared to some of the other guys that it was like 450 witnesses altogether that were gathered since 1993. They gathered 450 witnesses. I was the 100th videotaped witness. I mean, the other guys, 20 of us were willing to go before the 22 cameras in the National Press Club, and each of us stated after our testimony that we were willing to testify under oath before an open congressional hearing, and breaking national security oaths, all this stuff, it's like, you just don't do this unless you're serious. The other fellows that had testimonies, we have bases on the other side of the moon with Carl Wolf, visually witnessed. We've got 57 different species already categorized by 1989 with Clifford Stone. You've got Captain Robert Salas, nukes being shut down. You've got Donna Hare, 20 years with NASA.
Mr. Bigelow just
UFOs out.
Mr. Bigelow, just Bigelow Aerospace, just in the last, 60, 70 days on 60 Minutes said that don't look outside the universe. ETs, they're right under our noses.
That's right. That's right. But there's been a reason why they've been wanting to keep it secret all this time.
So let's cut get to the meat, to the bone, to the gristle, and all.
That's how I like it. Well, with the 22 cameras in the back row and everything that was disclosed, including President, CIA directors being denied access, we had a solution to get off of nuclear, oil, and coal, these dangerous, obsolete, old technologies, for over 70 years, and that, that we have these scientists willing to prove this to the world. After, I was on CNN, all the major networks. By the way, my testimony was, I had a high-level top secret in the Navy, and I was working at a naval communications station in San Francisco, receiving priority secret classified reports of ship's crew looking off port bow, a saucer about 70 feet in diameter, glowing a reddish orange that merged out of the ocean and shot straight up in space. It was off the coast of Alaska. The radar operator tracked it going over 7,000 miles per hour.
You mentioned
I didn't even.
You mentioned again you were one of 22 willing to testify in open hearings in the U.S. Senate, Congress. You'd break your oaths, et cetera, et cetera. What was the event or what happened that made you come out with the revelations you're going to share with us tonight?
Well, actually, a girlfriend wanted to go to this Laughlin U. I really wasn't interested at all, but I heard that Dr. Greer was going to gather these people and go to Washington. I thought, wow, somebody's got the guts to do that. What happened was we crashed a cocktail party, and I was holding an hors d'oeuvre, and he said, "Oh, could I try one of these?" And I said, "By the way, I had a top secret clearance, and I was getting, so I was like the 100th videotape witness." And what happened was one of the witnesses chickened out, and so I kind of volunteered to, pay my own way and go over there to help support. I wanted to see what I couldn't believe. They had about several hundreds of hours of witness testimony, which was boiled down to 4. Which the very first copy of this, I sat down with the president of Lockheed International for 4 hours, hoping that he might be able to contribute, but no cigar on that. But when we went to Washington, what happened was, I couldn't imagine any of this explosive stuff gets out on the mainstream media with all these reporters and all these cameras. I used to be an ex-ABC newsman, and so I was kind of curious on how the press is going to cover it. I was so naive. I thought it was part of a world-changing event, all this information being disclosed and people willing to testify under oath. What happened was CNN, the flagship of the disinformation, and the rest of the mainstream media used what the CIA calls a limited hangout, where, they covered the event. They said, they have 450 witnesses want to have a congressional hearing on the reality of UFOs, which, if you put it in that light, it's not really going to grab the people's attention. But
nope.
if you say, you have an energy solution, like CBS came and interviewed me, and I said, look, I'm not doing this interview. I saw what CNN did with it. I said, unless I can say on the air, with still 10 seconds, that we have the scientists willing to prove we have a solution to get off of nuclear oil and coal, it's non-polluting and all that, promised up and down. The girl who was a producer was almost in tears and said, I know I promised the higher executives, read CIA, made me cut that part out. So after the Bush administration denied the congressional hearing, I worked with the Naval Electronic Engineering Center for...
This would be Bush 41?
What's that?
Bush 41 or 43?
41 or 43.
As in presidents, G.H.W. Bush or G.W. Bush? The dad or the son?
Yeah, Junior. Yeah.
Okay.
Bush Jr. This is May 9th, 2001.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure we get our timeline straight.
So anyway, I had a good science and electronics background, and so the congressional hearing was denied. So I volunteered. I did this for like 10 years. We had a database of about 300 scientists and inventors. Brilliant minds in the civilian sector that come up with stuff. Not the reverse engineered extraterrestrial stuff that's in the black projects. And I've seen them murdered. I've seen national security orders slapped on these people. What's happened is basically the national security apparatus going through the patent office has a secret system called sensitive application warning system. Anybody who's got anti-gravity or any kind of free energy type device, they get slapped on one of these that says your invention's been deemed to be a detriment to the national security of the United States, therefore you cannot share it with anybody. So we got, at last count, I think it was like 5,800 solutions to get off of these dangerous old technologies. So we're kind of kept hijacked, the planet.
And that's because of the omnipresence suppressing the knowledge of free energy.
It seems that the extraterrestrial issue seems to be key to the Pandora's box behind the entire thing, and it seems like it all started...
It all started, go ahead.
I can just hear the music.
Well, it's called Bummer. I tell you what, we're going to come back with It All Started With our guest tonight, Dan Willis. Find him over at thewebmatrix.net. And make sure if you're on social media right now, you can share the interview we're doing, or you can come watch the show on 1310kfk.com. Just click watch the show, and you should be able to watch the show. I don't know why you wouldn't. But yeah, you're on social media anyway. We'll give you links later. But Windmill Productions 914. Be one of the first 102 peeps who like that, and you're going to win a set of beer glasses, a T-shirt, and a sweatshirt. And if you're live and local and want to drive down to Windmill Productions, well, then you can go, I want a pink T-shirt, and I want a purple sweatshirt. And they'll go, you're lucky Scooters, you're not here, because he'd ask why. Okay? So just do that for me, and take 3 minutes, deep breath, open your minds, and we'll be back with Dan Willis.
Are you listening to the Scooter McGee Show? Well, misery does love company. Stay tuned to News Talk 1310 KFKA.
And now, a Sport Clips well-played moment.
Gentlemen, the human brain is a 3-pound question mark. Some say it can move objects just by thinking about it. Sport Clips agrees. Think about your hair getting shorter, and it will. A great MVP haircut experience with a hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and sports on TV. Don't fight the thought. Come in, sit down, and look at your brain in the mirror and say, well played, sir.
Sport Clips, located in Fort Collins, Greeley, and Longmont, or online at sportclips.com. The bell rings when you open the door at the Ranch restaurant, and then the smell of good home cooking greets you. But that's not the best part of eating at the Ranch. The best part of eating at the Ranch restaurant is the warm welcome you'll get. Something like, good morning, sit wherever you like. Properly welcomed, you can then choose your favorite breakfast or lunch, Greek, American, or Mexican, from the menu, or get one of the daily specials. Great value, tasty food, and amazing hospitality at the Ranch Restaurant, downtown Greeley on 6th Street, just east of 8th Avenue.
It's football season, and that means the Ernest Collins Jr. Show airs Tuesday nights at 6:05 on 1310 KFKA, live from Stuffed Burger Bar on the 9th Street Plaza in downtown Greeley. Join the head coach and me each Tuesday evening as we discuss Bears football. Your questions and comments are welcome on Twitter at UNC Bears Radio, hashtag #AskTheCoach. Find me on Facebook at Troy.Coverdale. Or join Ernest and me at Stuffed Burger Bar in Greeley Tuesdays at 6:05. The Ernest Collins Jr. Show on 1310 KFKA.
You got a favorite t-shirt, right? Come on, admit it. You've got several. From killer concerts, the Grand Canyon, Vegas, and memories live in them. Create a treasure to remember with Windmill Productions. Years from now, you'll still be thanking Trevor and Kim for the attention to detail and quality that make the memories last a lifetime. Located at 813 East 18th Street, Windmill Productions on Facebook, Windmill Productions 914, or windmillprographics.com. Or give them a call, 970-702-2636.
Previously on the Retirement and IRA Show.
The point is, taxpayers, this is a step in the right direction. It's no way near going to fix it, but you're going to hear a lot of claims in the future that it's fixed again. Taxpayers, this is going to be fixed someday on your back. And that's what we have to remember here in the state of Colorado. PARA is underfunded, and the state's going to have to back it, and that's taxpayers.
Listen to the Retirement and IRA Show, Saturdays at 8, or go to jimhelps.com.
All right, guys, we're ready for our four-season sunroom, and Daddy's gonna get a rec room with refreshments.
Oh, no. We'll be sleeping under the stars.
Mom, what about the one with, the fun?
Nice try, little bro. It's a gym. My gym.
Hey, Grandma's getting her Four Seasons garden room. Weather tight and still like being outdoors.
Maybe a living room. Oh, no, wait. A family hub.
Yeah! No matter what the budget, the season, or the climate, Four Seasons Sunrooms let you and your family enjoy the outdoors inside. Call now to hear more about these great offers from the premier manufacturer of sunrooms since 1975.
More reasons for Four Seasons now.
To find out more, call toll-free 800-988-4477. That's 800-988-4477. Call 800-988-4477 today.
If the headlines are half as bad as Scooter says, then keep drinking. I mean, keep listening to the Scooter McGee Show on News Talk 1310 KFKA.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
This is Stanton Friedman, and you're listening to Scooter McGee on News Talk 1310 KFKA.
I don't think I could have said that better. You mean the ability to just be able to repeat what being told, and the ability to kiss ass so you get a plus instead of a regular, so you can further advance inside a continuous circle of repetitious cycles? Because that's what we're doing. And there is an argument that we are at the abyss. And we are either going to transcend, and we are going to stop and defeat the New World Order and the globalists and the elitists and the presence that is surrounding us, or it's going to consume us. Now, to talk about this tonight, our guest is Dan Willis, as I mentioned, coming from the Disclosure Project 2001 in Washington, D.C. Now, this has to do tonight with advanced technologies, alien technologies, extraterrestrial presences. It has to do with think tanks, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, the Morgans, the Vanderbilts. You know him as Anderson Cooper. From Majestic 1 through Majestic 12 to the MK Ultra to, again, in just the last 75 days, Mr. Bigelow from Bigelow Aerospace. You don't have to look outside this galaxy. You don't even have to look out. It's right under your nose. And SETI? Oh, look up METI. Now we're instant messaging aliens. Really? Where's all the billions of dollars gone? Let's talk more with our guest tonight, Dan Willis. So, Dan, you said that's the perfect place to start with the argument about free energy and the extraterrestrial presence. And I should point out, a lot of people right now don't realize. I mean, I point out, I'm sorry, a lot of you, Einstein peeps out there. Tesla was right. Everyone's on a wireless device right now, and he had that in 1900. I've pointed out our military continues to withhold technology that's at least 30, 40 plus years in advance. All these, quote, conspiracy theories keep turning out to be facts. And yet it seems a lot of people don't want to hear about it, don't care because it doesn't affect them. And yet, if we really did care about this planet, it's not a carbon tax, a solution giving to the global bankers. It would be releasing the, vast caverns of documents of technologies that are currently being suppressed. Is that correct to say?
Absolutely. You're hitting a really good point, Scooter. It's it does affect the average listener. When people watch the evening news and look at they have no idea. When my father, was an ex-career Marine, World War II, Korea War, presidential citation, we're watching Walter Cronkite. He had no idea of the control mechanism and generational indoctrination. The cabal's biggest fear is, like Brzezinski echoed, there's a global awakening due to the alternative media, because it's working itself around the mainstream media, which they have, their full control of. As you know, the CIA, Tavistock, and then a whole group of billions of dollars.
Brookings, Rand, the club. Oh, yes. Exactly. And so, again, I apologize for interrupting. Yes, no, again, it's this monumental wall of groups that operate in plain sight, suppressing absolute fact.
Yeah, they infiltrated our, all us military people, have sworn an oath to protect the Constitution, including enemies, foreign and domestic. And I don't know what looks more like a domestic enemy infiltration than what happened back during the Eisenhower era. And Eisenhower tried to warn us. Kennedy tried to warn us. Every president, CIA director, people have been denied access for decades. And that's what actually brought about this disclosure project, because CIA director during the Clinton administration was denied access because Lawrence Rockefeller wanted to get this information out to the public, unlike the other Rockefellers, And then it was this was back in 93. And then by 97, Edgar Mitchell joined Dr. Greer to meet with the head of Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Tom Wilson, who was shown some of these unacknowledged special access programs. And he was denied access. And he said, if you can get people together that can go before the media, you have my permission. This group is illegal, quote unquote. So we have this illegal infiltration that the Navy's been trying to push forward to go for full disclosure through a number of witnesses that are coming out of the White House.
And that, of course, regarding the U.S.O. situation, underwater aircraft popping out of the water. The U.S.Os versus U.F.Os, but same thing.
Well, I've studied all these witnesses' testimonies. I've looked at all the, after I was naive, Scooter, when I went to Washington back in 2001. I had no idea of the control mechanisms in place, this whole thing. I had no idea. And so around 2014, the beginning of some media company out of Hollywood, being an ex-ABC News and Witness, they wanted me to write an article on media control. And I said, yeah, right on. Yeah, I want to learn about this. How the hell did they keep the public from knowing about this? What's behind this, you know? And so I did several years of research, you know, and what you find out is that we didn't really win the war with the Nazis. They had a plan called Weltanschauungskrieg, which meant worldview warfare. They infiltrated in. They rewrote the history, 1946. You know, they did what's called limited hangout. Sure, there's a lot of accurate things that happened in World War II, but all the critical information that would totally sway your opinion of what happened was omitted. Operation Mockingbird, 1950, you're well aware of.
Yep. Of which I'm not a member of.
Project Dove.
I'm not a member of, but I'm thoroughly convinced that our good friend A.C. Cooper, a.k.a. Anderson Vanderbilt, who, again, I mean, he was an intern at the CIA. Once CIA, always CIA. Sorry. I'm the one who's saying that, not you, so you're not subject to slander or libel or any of that. But well aware of Mockingbird. I just want to point out I'm not a member of it. We've reported about it, though, on this show. We're going to take we're 31 after, 29 to the top, and I know that because of my Bull of a Moon watch. Okay, so yes, secret bases on the moon. Whose bases? Because then we have the big problem of I may be having to swallow a big piece of crow. Because, yeah, now we know about the secret military space program, but the bases on the moon and the free technology and the suppression by the media, why and by who? We'll find out with our guest tonight, Dan Willis. Learn more about him on the World Wide Web, thewebmatrix.net, and take a look at the headlines for tomorrow, 11-12-17, over at 1310kfk.com.
Become a friend of Scooter McGee or like the Scooter McGee Show page. More of the Scooter McGee Show in a moment. 1310 KFKA's First Alert Weather, powered by Denver 7.
Northern Colorado weather tonight, mostly clear, not as cold, low in the low 40s, mostly sunny, windy and warm tomorrow with mid-70s. Friday, increasing clouds, highs in the upper 60s. Saturday, a few showers and a high near 60. I'm Denver 7 Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson, 1310 KFKA. This weather update is brought to you by CRP 4x4, located at the corner of 9th Street and 21st Avenue in Greeley. Call them at 970-351-8603.
Fork It Over, airing Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 on 1310 KFKA. We'll be dishing out the latest news for your healthy lifestyle. Think healthy is hard, boring, or even unnecessary? Join Leslie and Robin Nance as they drop tips, tricks, and achievable methods of living a healthy, balanced life. Call in and ask your questions live during our Fork It Over Q&A segment. Listen to expert interviews, hear the latest in health news, and learn about local, healthy lifestyle events. Fork It Over, airing Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 on 1310 KFKA.
Did you know that at A&W, we make our signature root beer fresh in the restaurant? We have since 1919. Real cane sugar and a secret blend of ingredients. There's just nothing like a fresh A&W root beer served in a frosty mug. Always at your local A&W.
Make a great choice and visit your local A&W restaurant in Eaton, right off Highway 85 at 680 Oak Avenue. And be sure and check out money-saving deals and upcoming events on Facebook at A&W Eaton, Colorado. Proud sponsor of Eaton Athletics.
At participating restaurants, prices may vary, tax extra.
You got a favorite t-shirt, right? Come on, admit it. You've got several. From killer concerts, the Grand Canyon, Vegas, and memories live in them. Create a treasure to remember with Windmill Productions. Years from now, you'll still be thanking Trevor and Kim for the attention to detail and quality that make the memories last a lifetime. Located at 813 East 18th Street, Windmill Productions on Facebook, Windmill Productions 914, or windmillprographics.com. Or give them a call, 970-702-2636.
The people in Northern Colorado are proud people. Being corn-fed and homegrown carries a certain pride behind it. Warehouse Supply has been right here in northern Colorado and is locally owned and operated. Warehouse Supply is an industrial and agricultural supply company dedicated to providing excellent service inside our store as well as out in the field. Located right off of Highway 85 in LaSalle, Warehouse Supply knows what it means to be from northern Colorado, and they are here to continue to serve the people of northern Colorado. Call today at 284-2041.
Once in a while, we all long for a trip down memory lane. At Rooster's Men's Grooming Center in Greeley, we do just that. Rooster's offers a precision haircut and shave while you relax and enjoy some great conversation just the way it used to be. A classic barbershop experience geared strictly towards men. One visit and you'll feel like you're home again. Ask our talented barbers about our classic 7-step facial shave, and for all of our customized services, log on at roostersmgc.com. Rooster's Men's Grooming Center in the Westlake Shopping Center near King Soopers on 35th Avenue.
It's the place there's no place else like. Home. It's the circle of chairs around your fire pit, where all the do you remembers get passed around like bowls of ice cream. It's bacon and eggs in the skillet, crackling along with the laughter.
At Shelter Insurance, we don't just insure your home, we insure all the memories that live inside it. Ask your agent for details. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter Insurance agent Paul Dovenbarger about Shelter's competitive auto insurance rates.
Hello, Pat's Plots. What do you need?
I need an oil filter for a 2010 Ford pickup.
A what? We don't got that. Pat's Plots.
Hey, I'm looking for
we don't got that.
Sound familiar? Stop wasting your time and get the parts you need in one call at Gould Parts in downtown Eaton. Gould Parts has exactly what you need. Truck parts, car parts, machine parts. They've got it all with just one call. Write down this number and stick it up on the fridge. 454-3355. Gould Parts in Eaton.
Thursday morning, how about we do breaking news, traffic, weather, sports, and the best of our community, and we'll call it NOCO Morning News, 1310 KFK.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Hi, I'm John Rao, and you're listening to Scooter McGee on News Talk 1310 KFKA.
Welcome back, Gotham. Actually, let me flip my smartphone over, so on vibrate. In theory, we may get a phone call here further our next hour. But right now, welcome back live to the Pro Realty Old Town Studios. Now, that's my good buddy Matt Rivette, who is taking a very, 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 very brief, much-needed vacation, but is still available on his cell phone, believe it or not. 970-356-1234. I thought I was a workaholic. So, yeah, not down at the office, but certainly get a hold of him or just find him, prorealtyhomes.com, and go from there. We have a long way to go and a very short time to get there. And our guest tonight, if you're just joining us, is Dan Willis. You can learn more about him, 1310kfk.com, on my social media, The Scooter McGee Show on Facebook, or via Twitter, the symbol @TheScooterMcGee. And shamelessly plug before we get any further, Dan, how can people find you on the World Wide Web, or do you choose not to live on the grid anymore?
Well, I live off the grid in the mountains, but I put up an article, that media company wanted me to write about. It's called "Who Controls the Agreed Upon Reality Through the Mainstream Media and Why
Yes.
We're Here Disclosing the Truth About the Extraterrestrial Reality" at www.thewebmatrix.net. N-E-T. I didn't realize we had so many commercial breaks. I better go in the turbo mode here. Now, unless you want to extend I can extend.
As
into
I
the
said,
next hour, but
as
I'm
I
not
said,
sure
I
what you have
apologize.
scheduled next.
Well, and that's why I said I apologize. We only have 4 segments per hour, and I do apologize. It seems to be a popular show. I don't know why. I haven't figured it out yet, but management hasn't either. So let's not tell them. Anyway, I want to bring up again. You point out that what we know as World War II is not World War II. And I say, as does your page, oh yeah, we broke the Japanese code. We knew. We set it up for problem reaction solution. And yet today, now if you choose to stay with us and we get on a roll here and you get your second win and want to stay with us, you're more than welcome to in the 10 o'clock hour. But today is the anniversary of the infamous letter of Albert Einstein being delivered to FDR. You better start your nuclear weapons program immediately. And that's 1939. We also today, in history, Apollo 7. Now, moon. Now, I am wearing, and I know the moon story, did we go and not? I don't know how as civilians we got there with the Van Allen's radiation belt. So when we talk about secret moon bases on the backside of the moon, whose are they?
Well, I'm a ham radio operator. Back then, there was ham radio operators pointing their very selective directive antennas up at the moon, so they were getting a signal that wasn't coming out of low Earth orbit. They were getting a signal from the moon. And, according to William Tompkins and several others, that there was a large alien contingency of large ships surrounded around the crater that essentially warned them off, told them to come back and do a couple of missions, and that's it.
So
yeah,
you say we went to the moon. In the timeline, in the timeline that was served to us, or were we there before? July 1969.
Well, it appears that the Nazis went to the moon
let's go back
in 1942.
Thank you. So now let's go back to World War II and the history, and that's where we left off at the break.
Yeah, back 1942 was also another interesting thing to get into the history of what's going on. In fact, they were just trying to do a disclosure today, which is a limited disclosure. What happened in 1942 was also the Battle of L.A., if you remember all the
Absolutely.
They shot down 2 of these drone ET craft. The Army Air Force grabbed one, took it to Wright-Patterson. The Navy did theirs in China Lake. What happened was General Henry Arnold brought in a huge amount of money, and the Air Force thought, well, this is stuff in the air. The Navy just floats out there in the water. We should control this. So Project RAND turned into the RAND Corporation in the late 90s. As you remember, Forrestal was murdered and fell off the hospital window during this time. What happened was the Air Force basically took control of the whole thing while the Navy went into their own secret program. And so what happened was during, Eisenhower had an ET meeting back in 54, but in 1955, it seems as though the industrial military complex that he attempted to warn everybody about, that only an alert, knowledgeable citizenry can protect our future liberties and freedoms, basically entered into the same agreement with the extraterrestrial race that the Nazis did. And so the Air Force and CIA, NSA, there's a lot of white hats and black hats in both, you can't just generalize.
That is
correct.
But
the Navy separately has been trying to say, tell it all. Every witness that's come out, like Tompkins, for example, Admiral Hugh Webster said, just tell it all. It's most important to the future of our country, just like Admiral Tom Wilson said, get these people to the media, this group's illegal. In other words, there was a split that happened between the Navy and the Air Force and the cabal and the NSA, CIA, the whole group. So that's what we're experiencing today is this one group has illegal activity, let's say, that would be crimes against humanity. So they're trying to spin it in such a way with disclosure so that they don't get the full truth out. The Navy, on the other hand, realizes that, we got to stop this continual loop of deception that's been going on. And, we've got to have a better world in the future. We can't have this continual lie going on. So that's where we're at today.
The world, I'm right here. The world right now in the media, it's funny if you watch, and I don't want to slam, for example, but right now Fox News Tonight. So it's war, fear, economy, etc. And as you mentioned, our commercial breaks. And then they go to their commercial breaks and it's, hey, go on vacation, go relax, go. Hey, if you need something, ask your doctor for it. Just take this. Make that go away for you. And I want to get back to a comment that you'd made about the article you wrote about the manipulation of the media. And this
that's key. That's like what's keeping they're afraid that the masses are going to wake up and catch on that they've been hoodwinked for generations. That's their biggest fear.
When you say they, can you be more specific?
Well, there was a group that initially funded Hitler, and there was a group that initially, back in 1917, took control of all the major newspapers, Rockefeller, Warburg, J.P. Morgan. The banking elite that there seems to be groups that seem to work well. Their ideologies are similar. They seem to work together. I can't name names. It seems like the same names keep coming up and the same...
And you mentioned the Tavistock Institute and the Rand Corporation. I mentioned the Club of Rome. Fair enough to blanket them under the infamous word Illuminati?
Well, interesting. Well, yeah,
and yet it's Illuminati.
The Freemasons back in 1776.
Oh, absolutely. No, yes. Now we really get back into history. Yes, in all the levels of the. Actually, I have a Masonic Lodge Bible that people get really freaked out when they see, and that's a whole nother show. And I'm sorry I tangented. The role.
My grandfather was a 33rd degree, so. I know what you're saying.
Well, and then there's another level of why should we trust anything you say?
Because I'm not. Anyway, what's happening is...
So the level of, from again, 98% of the Masons do great work for charity and they just go about the game. But again, it's grooming grounds for the higher grounds. They get to the Bilderberg groups. They get to Davos. They get to be those who select within the elite that seem to work for J.P. Morgan, the Royal House of Goldman Sachs, et cetera, et cetera. But who are controlling them? Because I've still always kind of yelled and screamed that these people are occultists. They are pedophiles. I have done several shows where certain public figures at a moment will appear reptilian, but back to the alien presence, the alien presence really being what it is, I want to take totally out of context then Jeff Bezos' statement of the odds of us not living in a matrix being 1 in a billion. Are the aliens controlling that matrix? Are we under their control to that extent, or no, is this unraveling so fast?
According to William Tompkins, we've been under control of a reptilian race for over 6,000 years on this planet. We do have a possibility of breaking free of these control mechanisms. I can't speak of firsthand knowledge of those things. I've just been researching and kind of looking at the indicators of all these different witnesses and what documents and things are coming out.
All right,
William Tompkins had a lot of documentation to back up what his testimony was.
When we come back from a very quick break, let's finish up this hour. See how our guest is doing. Dan Willis, the Disclosure Project. But again, the names keep popping up, and it's not a coincidence. They never let a good crisis go to waste, and there's no such thing as a coincidence in the world of politics.
Who's gonna tell you when?
Oh, and by the way, I mean, it may not be the world's oldest profession, but the results are still the same. I shouldn't have slurred that. I don't think I had that word in speech therapy.
Are you listening to the Scooter McGee Show? The misery does love company. Stay tuned to News Talk 1310 KFKA.
At Advantage Bank, we are dedicated to building lasting customer relationships as you discover the difference a locally owned community bank can make. Advantage Bank offers local decision-making, exceptional customer service, and products designed to meet your needs. Some call it going the extra mile, but for Advantage Bank, it's business as usual, and it's what you deserve. Stop by any of our conveniently located branches in Loveland, Greeley, or Fort Collins. Advantage Bank, proud sponsor of UNC Athletics and your banking partner in Northern Colorado. To see our first-class products online, visit AdvantageBanks.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
There's one place around that'll get you ready for CSU home games this year, and that's Zwei Brewing. Park at Zwei, get geared up for the game with one of their famous, uniquely crafted German beers, then take the Max to that shiny new stadium and cheer on the Colorado State Rams. For more on Zwei Brewing's beer or any upcoming events, check out their Facebook page or website at zweibrewing.com. ZWEI Zwei Brewing. Open Monday through Saturday 11 to 10 and Sunday 11 to 7 in Fort Collins next to Provello.
Are you looking for a place where your child can strive in their education as well as continue their learning about Jesus Christ? Dayspring Christian Academy, located right in the middle of Greeley, offers a place for students to learn, love, and lead. From preschool to grade 12, we are committed to the mission of educating the mind, training the heart, and serving the world for the glory of Christ. Discover how your student can learn to lead for Jesus by calling 584-2585 or going online to dayspringeagles.org.
This Week in Preps Radio.
A 3-game week is on tap for high school football. Thursday night at 6:30, Northridge looks to get a win as they play host to Thompson Valley. Friday night in our game of the week, the playoff-hungry Highland Huskies have an away matchup against Lions at 7. Then on Saturday, join Clark Johnson for Preps Rewind at 10 a.m. Then Dayspring Christian battles it out against Akron to stay in the playoff chase at 1 o'clock. As always, listen live on 1310 KFKA or online at 1310kfka.com.
Matt Rivette started in real estate just in time for the bottom to fall out of the market, and it turns out it was a good time to start. From day one, Matt Rivette had to do it right. Serve the client. Turn for sale into sold. 32 years later, we know market conditions will change, but Matt Rivette's commitment to you won't. This is a good time to get to know Matt Rivette at Pro Realty. List your commercial, income, or residential property with Matt Rivette. Call Matt Rivette at 970-356-1234 or go to ProRealtyHomes.com.
The problem with most gyms is, well, they're gyms. Double Diamond CrossFit knows what it takes to get the results you're looking for. CrossFit is high-intensity, short workouts designed to improve your core and cardiovascular strength. Double Diamond CrossFit has classes throughout the day with certified coaches. You show up, warm up, and build your better body, all with the support of the CrossFit family. Double Diamond CrossFit on the corner of 59th Avenue and 10th Street in Greeley. Call 970-302-2024. And don't forget to ask how you can get a free week on us.
Hate him? Want him to go away? Yeah! Email hr@1310kfka.com. In the meantime, back to the Scooter McGee Show.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Okay, welcome back, Gotham. Our guest tonight you can find on the World Wide Web, www.thewebmatrix.net. Head over to 1310kfk.com for headlines coming up for 10, 12, 17. But we got a lot to cover, and again, we only scheduled an hour. Dan, how you feeling? Do you have a second wind and want to keep going? Because it's up to you.
Sure, yeah, we hardly scratched the surface, Scooter.
I agree. All right, so back to, should we go back now to 1942 and the rewrite of World War II? Or again, as I said today in history, this is the day that FDR gets the letter from Einstein. You better build one rapidly.
Well, 1942, and then, it led us up to, like, where we were going. 1954, was also not only first contact with Eisenhower, was the, ex-Nazi SS Barnhart starts the Bilderberg meetings, which are going on every year.
Yes.
People like Hillary and things, attend those. So we have 1955, where one of the witnesses, General Lovkin, was on Eisenhower's staff, and he was aware that he lost control to the corporations. And so when you think of corporations, there's sort of a fascist mindset, with corporations, and also Operation Eagle Flight. Nazi Germany came over, bought 750 front corporations. And so, a lot of interesting things happened. All the slave operations that Heinrich Himmler had, before the end of the war. The man who designed this huge underground complexes for Nazi Germany, Xavier Dorsch, was brought over in paperclip immediately after the war, and they started in the Monsanto Mountains in New Mexico, building out. They got about over 129, the last count. Phil Snyder was one of the operators on building those bases. So you have these huge operations underneath, and you have to wonder. There's a lot of indication that slavery could work very well for the corporate bottom line.
Boy, it sure seems to now, because again, fear. Take some meds, go on vacation, go spend. Again, as you had mentioned it for 2001, and then we have the infamous 9/11 2001. And out comes President Bush and says to America, "Don't panic, go out and spend. Consume." I mean, I'm not making that up, am I? That's what he told us to do.
No, and he said beware people come out with dangerous conspiracy theories like you.
Lest, again, you're either with us or you're with the terrorists, which is back to Hitler saying you're either with us or you're with them, and we know how well that didn't work.
Right.
The same players. I bring up IBM and Watson and the Nazis, and everybody goes ape over me saying that. And yet I bring up the VA and IBM and Watson, and everybody wants to be real quiet about that. And yet, so we're talking about secret societies. They're performing in broad daylight. They operate under the cloak that they're for the benefit of mankind, when in fact your realizations, as you've been sharing, they're controlling mankind. But where you were at in the last break was that we are at that cusp that it's either going to break apart or they're going to take full control. And you feel that it's all coming apart.
It can go either way, actually.
Oh, you think it can go either way?
It's up to us. Actually, if we start waking up and not lull in the sleep watching CNN and what the engineering of consent that they've been having us give consent to, going off to some of the stuff we've been hoodwinked with, you could say.
The rewrite of America. I'm sorry, the rewrite of human history, not American history. The rewrite of human history. Who we really are as a species, what we really are, and who's really behind the forces that be.
When you take over the control of the education, take over control of the mainstream media, we even have back when Mockingbird was out, they had 400 CIA journalists, that were given information. We have witnesses that are non-official covers that are given information from the CIA to make it look like it's coming from independent news sources. Mm-hmm. So pretty much the matrix of perception that the Nazis planned to have in the United States has been pretty much generation after generation
now
created this false reality.
Okay, and this false reality some would call the Matrix, but again, taking it into the next hour, this obviously coming outside of a computer generation into alien technologies, obviously. Is that where we should go next, Dan?
We can probably maybe go in the direction of what people can do about this situation.
That would be helpful. Possibly a solution to a problem instead of them providing it for us. Wouldn't that be a novel idea? Stick around for hour 2 of a Quantum News Network production live from the Pro Realty Old Town Studios of the Scooter McGee Show. Find me at 1310kfk.com, and we'll be back in 6 very quick minutes. Stand by, Gotham.
At Advantage Bank, we are dedicated to building lasting customer relationships.